Hi, team. Welcome to the Escape Podcast for Star Wars: The Old Republic. Coming up, building your alliance. But first, a couple bits of SWTOR news and a shout out to our guild, Alea Iacta Est on Jedi Covenant. Our broadcast astromech today is EPC 119, who will be touring the galaxy in this escape pod. Hey, 119, I think you should do a flyby on Tatooine first. Why Tatooine? Because while I do not like saying... I screwed up the joke.
Oh my gosh.
Why Tatooine? Because while I do not like Tatooine, I do like saying Tatooine. It's my favorite line from Theron Shan in the Tatooine Star Fortress. With me, as always, is Seema. Hi, Seema. How's it going?
Hey Max, I think 119 actually liked saying that too. He sounded pretty excited.
Yes. And who wouldn't like... I actually do
So,
like Tatooine, so I can't say I don't like Tatooine.
yeah. Things are going pretty well over here on my side of things. Um, Aside from the normal ops things and mandatory fun night things, I did switch to slicing on my Merc. I think it was treasure hunting that I dropped. So I don't know if this was the best idea because gifts are super important and lucrative right now, but it does seem pretty productive because since I'm on my Merc, um, probably a little bit more than other characters that I have, I can be running the super fast slicing missions on her because she's got a companion that's at influence 50, and
Yep.
it only makes sense to me to have um, the really short missions on a character I'm gonna be playing. Otherwise, I'm logging in every 15 minutes to take advantage of the short mission, so I didn't want to do that.
Right.
And it was actually pretty painless leveling it up because I would just send out 6 followers on slicing missions, just click, 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 click. And whenever I was playing, and she's like up into the 490s right now, so almost done.
Plus,
And I've been
treasure
running
hunting is...
heroics on various planets kind of before and after the nerf, and I'm pleased that, for me anyway, running the heroics is no harder than it was um, for me before the big nerf. I know they've upped it back again a little bit, so I don't know. It's I've been doing fine with that. I did run a Star Fortress today too, like on the heroic 2 setting, and I had done it pre-nerf and I did it today post-nerf, and actually I didn't try it in between when it was in like the major valley
Right.
of nerfdom. Um, but between the way it is now and the way it was pre-nerf for me, pretty similar. Of course, I don't run healing companion usually, so I can't really compare that much, but
Right. Which is where the
to
brunt
other
of the
people's
nerf was.
experience. But yeah, so I've been having fun with the planetary heroics, and I'm finding it pretty satisfying to like go to a planet and just do every heroic. I don't know why. I like the way it's set up. I like that you can click on the like like when you finish it, because the rewards come up, and then you can click on the little shuttle to go to the next one. And then you finish it and the rewards come up and you can click on the I don't know, it just feels nice and clean and smooth. I like it. So
Yes,
happy with that.
it's a well-formed Skinner box.
Shut up.
It is. No, you click the thing and you get the little treat. I know, I've been doing them too. And I've always hated dailies and that kind of thing, and I've been doing a bunch of them. So,
I mean, as opposed to like running crew missions is still kind of to me kind of clunky because you have to open this window, and then you scroll down and click on this and open another window, and you might have to scroll down there too, or you might have to go to the like if you like since I've been leveling slicing, I may not have enough missions on the grade I am, and I have to go to the next grade down to pick up a few more missions, and I don't know, it's just scrolling and clicking and moving, and everything's not in a nice order, but doing these heroics is really nicely designed, I think, for me anyway.
yeah, I agree. I think it is too.
So that's how my week's been. What have you been up to?
So I've been doing some things. One comment on your dropping
Hmm.
treasure hunting for slicing. I think that's a fine decision. Treasure hunting is, to me, much less interesting because you can't get those gift fragments anymore. And those were the reasons that I
Oh,
liked
that's
doing treasure
true.
hunting.
Yeah.
And since they took those away and you can't get the new rank 6 gifts in treasure hunting, I still like having one treasure hunter to be able to run the mission drops that I get out of slicing. Otherwise, I would just prefer to have slicing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I appreciate that validation for my decision that I already implemented. Thank you.
Yes, you can always look to me for validation and enablement.
All right, cool.
I got my commando to 65, so now I've got two 65s on each, well, three on the imp side and two on the pub side, just to make sure that I could cover the roles that I typically do. So I've got a tank and a DPS on both sides, and then I've got my PvP Sork on the Imperial side as well. But I did do a bunch of PvP this week on my mercenary again. That's how I got my conquest target on my merc. I keep coming back to it. I like it. It's fun. Again, it's not the best, but it still is pretty fun to PvP on my mercenary.
So what do you like about it? Is it the rocket out?
Yeah, rocket out, and the damage is a good amount of damage, and I can actually survive, and I can kill people, and I can have fun playing, pew-pewing, shooting lasers and rockets at people. I still have my Sork though, in all vanilla 204 PvP gear, so a complete set of 204 PvP gear, but that's not the ranked stuff, that's the regular stuff, completely unaugmented. I was able to go into a Void Star, one of the war zones, and did 1.8 million damage and 400k healing, and realized, well, still the Sork is much, much better. Or at least the way I play it is much, much better than my mercenary. But mercenary is still fun. You can still have fun with it, especially in unranked. So I did some of that. Yeah. I did my Sork, and I did do a bunch of planetary heroics. I'm not done with all of the full list. I'm trying to take notes on each one as I go, and I'm gonna have that spreadsheet done before too long. And maybe when I get it done, I'll certainly put it up on the website, and maybe we'll do a podcast segment where we talk about those heroics and which ones are fast and slow, and how to get around them all, and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I would like to stop by the terminal on the fleet and pick up all the fast ones, and they just go boop, boop, boop.
And so that's exactly what I want too, and that's why I'm tracking each one and tracking the time. But with that, I think that is what I've been doing. Why don't we talk about the little bit of news or non-news that we have this week?
Now an Imperial News Network report.
BioWare. I'm just going to shake my head here for about 60 seconds. Just shake my head. This is not the way to set expectations. So I'm looking back, and I copied down all the tweets. They didn't do this in the dev tracker, but they've been tweeting out this whole thing about this live stream that's coming out this week. So by the time you hear this, if you're not watching this live for us, by the time you hear this, you'll probably know what the big thing is they're announcing. But my expectation is that this will not meet my expectations because of what they've done to hype up this live stream that's coming December 1st at 3 p.m. Pacific time. So starting on the 27th, you won't want to miss our SWTOR producer live stream. We've got big news, capital B-I-G big. Then again on the 27th, we're breaking precedents. We're breaking
not just some of the precedents.
All precedents with our new subscriber rewards. Really, guys, you're breaking all precedents. So you're curing a major incurable disease. You are paying, $1 million to every subscriber. Breaking all precedents. Then
time travel. It's got to be time travel.
The 28th, reap your just rewards. The secret will be revealed.
That one sounds like a threat to me.
Are they being ironic? Are they tweeting this stuff out somewhat ironically? Later on.
Funny. They get on the live stream and go, "It's a Tauntaun pet."
Yeah. Later on the 28th, we have can't get your fill of Fallen Empire. Well, do we have news for you? All right. On the 29th, Tune in for the big reveal on the 30th. Join your fellow SWTOR players during tomorrow's live stream and be the first to witness our new subscriber rewards. Witness me.
My favorite is the next one, the most anticipated producer live stream yet.
And that was this afternoon. The most.
How are they measuring how anticipated it is?
Okay. Again, expectations. If I was
It's
tweeting
like
this out,
nothing can meet those expectations.
no, not a thing now. Are you gonna fly, airline ticket for every single subscriber and rent out a theater so everyone can watch the premiere in Austin, Texas, and get a tour of BioWare? That would be pretty cool now, and that would maybe live up to these tweets that you put out there. So I don't know. If I was tweeting this out, if I was the marketing team, and maybe this is why I'm not on marketing. Maybe this is some marketing book that they just read that says this is the way you need to hype these things. But
I know maybe there's people out there that this actually makes them like the results better. But for me, it's sort of like, yeah, whatever they announce now is going to be anticlimactic. I mean, it's just going to be.
I would have said something like,
it is,
yeah,
it is going to be precedented.
Yeah. It will be completely precedented, guys. I would have said something like, we'd like to do something nice for our subscribers. We think you're going to like it. Tune in this week. We're going to see what we can do.
Or we're rolling out our new reward system for subscribers. Check it out.
We hope you're going to like it. We've tried to do something special for you. Okay.
Right, then I'd be excited about it.
That sounds nice.
Instead of having...
I appreciate that. I will take a look. That could be interesting. And then if it's not, if it's not my cup of tea, I'll be like, oh, well, they tried to do something nice. Now, if it's not my cup of tea, where's my unprecedented reward? Anyway, so that's that. So we will see tomorrow. And you people in the future who are listening to us, you can now either be nodding sagely at our predictions of the future, or you can be laughing at us because it is so amazing.
Don't laugh at us, future people. Oh, okay, laugh at us.
You feel free to laugh at us. So not too much else. They didn't even put that in the dev tracker. They didn't post that anywhere in the forums. So not too much other news. But we do have a couple things coming up also, don't we, Seema?
Yes, event schedule, which we touched on last week too. Starting December 8th, the GRE event is back in town, and then the week after that, the Rack Goals will be back, and the week after that, Bounty Contract Week again. So the holiday month of December, chock full of... it's interesting they didn't mention Life Day.
You're right, they didn't.
That coincided with the GRE stuff last year. I wonder if that will turn up too.
You're right, it did, because there was a reward that used the snowballs or something. The parcels.
I still have some snow parcels.
Yeah, snow-covered parcels. I liked that, and I liked the throwing the snowballs at the robots on Nar Shaddaa and a couple other places.
Yep, I did too.
To get the trees.
This week it's the Trade Emporium for Conquest, followed by the Relics of the Grease to coincide with the Gree coming on the 8th. And then on the 15th it'll be the Rackle Resurgence to correspond with the Rackle Week. So that's what's on the horizon for Conquest.
Looks good. It's good to keep track of, especially the Rackle event. We'll be talking tonight about building your alliance. And Lokin, if you have not gotten him yet, requires the Rackle event to finish him. So we'll talk a little bit about that as well. Shout out to our guild. It's been fun running with you guys this week. We've been doing some fun stuff. Ran some... I had to sit out a couple things, but I was in our Mumble server for a bunch and ran some Star Fortresses and one pickup op that we did. To everyone not in AIE, always remember that our guild is always looking for new members on Jedi Covenant. Our parent guild, Alea Iacta Est, is one of those very large, family-friendly, multi-gaming communities. We've got a solid guild in Star Wars on both the Republic and Imperial sides. And our guild info is on aie-guild.org. And you can always catch our officers in-game with a /cjoin-AIE-LFO on Jedi Covenant. And of course... Seema, did you just jump off of something?
Yeah.
Watching here on the video stream, you can watch Seema jumping off of cliffs. There
she goes.
shout out
I got
to
tired
the
of
chat
Koth
room.
looking at me.
We are here on Odessan with some of the people from the chat room and some of the people in the chat room chatting it up with us tonight. I will catch up with you guys after. It's always great having you guys here as well. But with that, I think we can talk about building our alliance.
Well, things here aren't as bad as when we first started, but if you ask me, the situation is still too close for comfort. Hate to sound like a looping hollow vid, but we need more. More contacts, more resources, and more people. Any help you could give us would go a long way.
Can't let Hilo Viz down. She needs more. More
She
companions.
wants
More Pokemon. You gotta collect them all. So, building your alliance. The key thing that we've found in building our alliances is getting all of the new companions that you can get. So we'll talk a little bit about that, but we'll also break it down and talk about the rest of what you're doing inside of your Odessan base, what all of the alliance specialists are for, and all of the little special things you can do to build up that alliance, which I've really enjoyed. So I guess to kick it off, I'll get your impressions too, Seema, but I've liked this part of the expansion so far. It was something I didn't really understand when in the lead up to the expansion, and after I got into it and saw what there was and sort of the feel of what it's like to have that Odessan base and go in there and have the different companions that you get standing around and your alliance specialists doing jobs. I like that. I really like it. So what about you, Seema? What's your overall impression of
I
the alliance?
also did not understand it leading up to this, and I wish that there had been more about it ahead of time, because I think it would have allayed a lot of fears, because this is pretty MMO-ish type content. It's repetitive, it's repeatable things to do. You can do them with other people. You can use them to advance your character, and building your alliances, adding contacts, and I mean this is just right down MMO alley.
Yep.
So it would have I don't know. I think it would have helped against the in those weeks leading up to the X-Pack, when people were just worried that it wasn't going to be an MMO anymore.
Right.
Also, I feel like I wouldn't have felt quite so confused by how everything went, that I would have understood it better. But that's neither here nor there. Actually, no need to understand things right away. You can work them out and experience them. But yeah. I'm getting to where I like it. I'm a little bit overwhelmed by how many companions we have now, just how many there are, and I wish we had better tools for sorting them and displaying them. Like I wish I could put my favorites at the top or something like that.
Right.
Or even, yeah, that would be, or maybe if I could just, I'd really love an interface where I could just say what order they're in. Because like on one character, maybe I want to always be easily access the companion that I usually run with. Another character, I might want my slicers at the top.
Right, especially in the
yeah.
crafting menu. I wish you could go into the alliance screen and maybe with the checkbox check off which of these are your crafters, and only those show up in the crew skills window. Because you still have the two windows.
When I want to go to Odessan, I have to scroll down to find a follower or a companion or a alliance member that I can click travel to for.
Right. I
love the feature, the travel to feature. I just wish it wasn't so much scrolling and eyeballing to get to where you wanted to go.
Right.
See, I guess I'm just never happy, but I am enjoying it. I'm enjoying the planetary heroics much more than I thought I would, so that's fun.
Maybe the unprecedented subscriber reward is you'll be able to sort your companion list. Wouldn't that be awesome?
I'm going for, you can have all your pets and mounts on every character, and they can move around in your stronghold all the time, all of them.
I'm going for world peace. It's going to be world peace for subscribers
that
only.
That would definitely be unprecedented. Yeah.
Non-subscribers, it's still chaos, but okay. So let's break it down. When you first get you've finished chapter 9. You get your Odessan base. I really like the cinematic where they sort of build the base. You've got a whole bunch of Force users that are like blasting rock out of the wall to make a landing bay, and their ships are coming in to set up pieces of the base. That was cool. There's your main base. Then there's the central area with the cantina. That is cool, and there's a couple interesting things in there that you're going to want to take note of. But the main part of your alliance, and in your base, there's 4 alliance specialists, and they're sort of part of, I would say they're sort of the core to what's going on in your base. There's Baywin Ego, that's Commander Ego from, if you ever played Galactic Starfighter, on the Republic side, he's the Starfighter commander. There's Hilo Viz, she's a legendary smuggler, and if you've played the Bounty Hunter, you come across her because Galt has had some run-ins with her, and in fact, I think she wants to kill Galt still. But I think Galt still is mooning after her. I think he still likes Hilo Viz. It's his long lost girlfriend. There's Ogurub, who's the Hutt that we saw on Makeb, who helped us out and is a researcher and speaks Basic, which is interesting. And then there's Sana Ray, and she's a Voss, which is sort of interesting. I don't think she showed up anywhere else until was she in any of the Voss story? I don't remember her coming up.
I just want to add here that doesn't he say that all of the Hutt can speak Basic? They just prefer not to.
Does he say that?
Or one of them does.
He says a lot of things. he talks a lot. In fact, there's a couple of the conversation options where it's basically like, boy, I think the text of the conversation option is, boy, he's talking a lot. You just gonna let him keep talking? Click number 3. So, but he always finishes off with, I must create. He's very he's a creator. An artist in his science and research. Anyway, you talk to those guys in your base. You don't get them really as companions, at least at this point in the game, but you do want to be building influence with them, and they will be giving you additional alerts. So they're going to direct you to do additional things related to your alliance. Mainly, they're going to start telling you to go chase after other companions that you can get. So the way you build influence with these guys is through supply crates. You get those supply crates by doing planetary heroics, and then there's a couple other ways. I think when you finish Star Fortress and a couple other major story quests, you'll get some supply crates. But there's 4 types of supply crates. They match up with each of the 4 alliance specialists. As you give them supply crates, their influence levels go up. Once they get to, there's some rewards for getting them to like level 2, 4, 6, and 8. You'll find a little data pad in one of the areas in your Odessan base that you'll get some crystals, rewards, some common crystals, glowing crystals for each of those ranks that you get them to. When you get them to level 10, there's some rewards for some special abilities that you can get in Star Fortress. And when you get them to level 20, there's another set of rewards, and that are special speeder tokens that they can give you for getting some rare speeders that you can get from there are a couple there's a vendor in your Odessan base where you can get a speeder associated with each one of the alliance specialists. So you do want to level them up over time. You do want to get their influence increased, and then you do want to start responding to the alerts that they're going to put in your companions and contacts window. And those alerts will show up at the top, and the first one they'll give you will have you go after the first new or old companion that you can go get, and doing that then will unlock the rest. So what's the highest influence of any of your base specialists that you have so far, Seema?
My base specialists, I am working on, the highest one I have is, I'm scrolling down right now. It'll take me a while to get down there. Dr. Ogurab at 9.
So it's close.
But the rest are like 7 or 8, so I'm trying to get them all to 10 about the same time.
Yep.
So that might be in the next couple of days.
So if you have an option for what specialists, I've been evening out my boxes, my supply crates, so that I can raise them all evenly. You could go after one and just get one of their influence all the way up, I guess.
That's what I started out doing until you mentioned to me that doesn't really give you anything after influence level 10. So I said, oh,
Which was a lie,
I
because
shouldn't
there is
put.
something at 20, which I didn't realize at the time. But
Oh, okay.
so the thing at
You
20
knew.
is just a speeder. So you could look up, they each have a special speeder that they'll give you a token for that speeder that you can go turn in and get a special speeder as you get each of them unlocked to 20. So if there's one of those speeders you like, I guess after 10, you could go and just rank up that particular
Yeah.
companion or contact. Turning in those supply crates also gives you pieces of legacy armor sets, and those legacy armor sets are specific. They're the old armor sets that you thought were out of the game. So Arcanian, Dreadguard, and the Yavin armor sets. I think there might even be one or two more than that. When you trade in one of those boxes, say I have one of the military boxes, I give it to Ego. Ego gives me back a box. When I open that box, he gives me back. I'll get a piece of legacy armor. He only gives out trooper and warrior legacy gear, and it'll match one of those remnant armor types: Arcanian, Dreadguard, Yavin, yada yada. But then you can get a complete set. So it's random, but I could get that complete set of Arcanian trooper gear that I wish I could have gotten or never finished. So that's sort of cool. That's another side thing you can go and do.
I didn't realize it was like that. But now that I'm looking at them in my bank, I see what you mean.
Yeah, exactly. They're the old sets. And then
I wish they would do, gosh, what was the old one?
oh, like
Kalumi.
yeah, Kalumi is good. I've got a Kalumi set on my trooper that I keep. Actually, well, I think I still have it on Ilara because it's still cosmetic. No, I actually don't, because Alara's gone. Damn it. Where's Alara? My zombie girlfriend.
They're coming.
Anyway, so you can get those. You also get a companion gift. You get one of those nice at least rank 5, usually rank 6, and some of the nice, or maybe they're all rank 6. You get a real nice companion gift. And once in a while you can get something else special like a mount. I've gotten a couple mounts here and there too. So you want to be getting their rank up. Any of those crates that you're getting, you can turn in over time too. It'll still be worth it to turn them in the future if you want to continue to build those legacy sets or try to get some of the rare mounts or things like that. Or just sell the companion gifts that come out of them. In fact, if you're looking to unload common crystals, there's a smuggler vendor in the cantina on Odessen that will allow you to buy these locked crates that you can turn in. So while you can buy companion gifts from that guy, I would recommend buying the crates, turning in the crate to your Alliance specialists, getting the companion gift that they give you, and the piece of legacy gear and potentially a mount. So there you go.
That would be the most,
Efficacious.
you get the most stuff that way, but then you don't get necessarily the gift that you're after.
No, not necessarily. And it costs a little bit more to buy the crate. So this is true. But if you're going to have tons and tons of those crates, or you have tons and tons of data crystals, you've got plenty of companions now that you can shuffle all the gifts off to, is the way I look at it.
Yep.
So what about some of the other things that pop up in your companions and contacts window? One whole set that we won't talk too much about are the alerts that will come up for the people you need to be going after for each of the star fortresses above each of the planets. So each star fortress associated with each planet, Tatooine, Alderaan, Belsavis, yada yada yada, has an alliance contact associated with that particular star fortress. As you complete the lead up to that, unlocking that star fortress, and then complete the star fortress, that contact that was helping you out on the planet will become a companion. So that's great. There's some cool companions you can get out of those. They don't do too much interesting. I think they all start at influence rank 10 though, which is nice. But there's some cool races which you probably haven't seen in the game. There's like the Weasel Woman. I don't even know what some of these races are called. There's well, I should know what this one is called. The one that looks like the baby that Will Smith delivered in Men in Black. What is she called? I forgot. But
I don't know.
she's cool. Varroa Dens. There's one of those big boar dudes that shows up in a couple places in the game. There's the weasel woman. There's the hammerhead Jedi dude.
Right.
I should really
The hammer.
Jedi Knight
Choza Robot.
Choza. So you can get those all
Who's
of Nautilin.
Who's the boar
That's
guy?
what it is.
Is that Kroll
Thank you,
the talent
Easy,
scout?
from the chat room.
from
It's
Belsavis?
Nautilin. The crow. Yeah. I don't know which planet he's from. Does it
Nautilin.
say in his bio here? I'm reading his bio. It doesn't say where. I don't think it says where he's.
Kroll is from Belsavis. I just got him,
Oh, excellent.
and he recruits criminals out of the prisons there.
Nice. All
Good
these.
source of
They always have the funny little
alliance.
hat on these boar dudes. But they're pretty cool looking. Bounty hunter-ish, big boar face, giant head guys. So you can recruit all of those guys. That's just by doing the Star Fortress stuff, which we'll talk about at some point. Then you'll also get a series of alerts. The first one you'll get will unlock a bunch of other alerts where your alliance specialists are telling you, hey, go off and you might want to check out this person. This is someone we may want to be pulling into our Odessan base, making part of our alliance. They have skills which may be useful to us as we start to fight Zakul. That's the story. The first one that you get sent off to do is Yoon. So to find a Findsman is the first alliance mission that you'll be sent off to do. It's the first alert that pops up from Ogurub. Ogurub wants you to go off and find Yoon, and you have to go and complete Yoon to unlock a bunch of the other ones. But Yoon's pretty cool. You go to Zakul. He's down in the tunnels in Zakul. He asks you to help him find a bunch of components of some sort of device that he's creating. He talks in sort of that bug language that that he talks in and tells you, he wants you to complete the song that tells the story of the composition that is the device that he's creating, yada yada yada.
Right.
Which I like. So
Yeah, I do too.
he's cool. You complete that. It's a short. Most of these are a short story and mission, and then you get them recruited. After so you've gotten Yoon already.
Yes.
Then after you complete Yoon, a bunch more alerts will pop up. Basically, you'll get 4 more, 1 for each of the alliance specialists, and the alliance specialists can only give you, will only be offering 1 alert each at a time. And for this reason, you will not get, and we'll talk about each of them real quick, but you won't get Loken until you finish Kaizen, because Kaizen comes next from Igo, Commander Ago, and until you finish Kaizen, he won't give you the next one, which is Loken. So if you're looking for Loken because you're trying to get ready for the Agree event, you need to finish Kaizen first. So let's go through them, though, the rest of them. Imperial side, Major Pierce, and Republic side is M14X, is the PvP companion. You probably heard about that. Some people have been talking about it. This companion requires you to either have Valor rank 40, or have already had that companion. If you're a Sith warrior or a trooper on the Republic side, you can just get Pierce or M14X. Or you need to do at least 20 unranked Warzone matches, and wins count as 2. So this one is gated by PvP, basically. There's been some people that have been, somewhat critical of that. Why do we have to have a companion that's gated by PvP? And do I then need to complete Pierce to unlock like the next companion that might come after, another alert that's going to come in a future chapter? So if I just don't care about PvP and I don't care about Pierce, that's fine for now. And that's my view of it, is if you don't like the PvP, that's fine. We've got a million other companions anyway, just skip it.
Right.
However, if it does gate someone else interesting after Pierce that comes from that alliance specialist, that might be a cause for concern.
But I'm still okay with it. I mean, so
Yes.
you have to step a little bit out of your. I mean, I don't PvP, so I would have to step if I wanted this companion that we haven't heard of yet. I would have to. I would have to do some PvP.
Right. And I said this, I think, in a previous podcast. I would be fine with some of these companions or these alerts gated by even much more difficult things. If
Yeah.
As long as
Yeah, absolutely.
I didn't realize you could only get one alert from each of the specialists, and maybe they'll open if they break that down and they just like leave Pierce out there, have like a nightmare companion. You have to complete every nightmare operation. Have a nightmare pilgrim companion. Have a ancient threat companion. I would be
Yeah.
completely cool with that. Have a reason to go do some of the hardest stuff in the game that not many people will do, or have something to aspire to. That's cool. I don't need to
Right.
get all of these right away. I don't need to get all of them ever. So I'd be fine with
Right.
that. Yeah, I agree.
I totally agree. Give us, something to reach for.
That said, I did PvP enough to get Pierce. I didn't realize until after I had also done 20 that I'm already way over Valor rank 40. I could have just gotten him. However, if you get up to if you do your 20 matches and continue to PvP and don't go back to Pierce and add him to your companion list, he will continue to gain influence for each PvP match you do. So I'm just going to let him sit there for a while, because I've already got him up to influence rank 12, and because I've been doing some more PvP each week. I'm just going to let that ride, and if I can get him to 50 just by doing PvP, and that's good.
Why not?
Why
yeah,
not?
That's awesome.
That's pretty cool.
That saves you a lot of gifts.
Another one that's sort of like that is Kaizen. So Kaizen is gated by having to do having to go chase down some stuff for Kaizen. And what Kaizen wants you to do is he wants you to get him to rank 10 influence by turning in tokens to him of either worthy creatures worthy of Jagannath, which is the great, not the great hunt, the watcher,
The scorekeeper.
scorekeeper. Yeah, so you're
Yeah.
hunting creatures that are sort of worthy in the eyes of the scorekeeper, which is sort of
Right.
Kaizen's mysticism to some degree.
Yes.
So-
And you're showing your worth to Kaizen by doing this.
Yes. So he says to you, "Hey, I'm not gonna come join your alliance unless you show your value." You can either go hunt. There's a new set of creatures on Hoth that are these, and they say target worthy of Jagannath, and they spawn on the edges of a lot of the zones in Hoth, and they spawn. Well, you could just sort of go back and forth if the place isn't being camped. You can go back and forth pretty regularly and start collecting these things over time. I spent like 20 minutes doing it one afternoon and got maybe like 8 of them done. I just kept watching them. They kept spawning. I'd go back. I think there's a couple guides out there that show where they spawn. The other thing you can do is kill world bosses, and you can only kill each world. You can only get a token off of each world boss once, and turn it into Kaizen. You can't do multiple. But each world boss you kill gives you 3,500 influence. Each of the creatures of Jagannath gives you 500 influence, and you're trying to get to 10,000 influence. If you end up with more tokens, and you turn them in all at once, so say you killed every world boss and you killed 100 of these creatures worthy of Jagannath, that's another one of those situations where Kaizen will end up at a starting influence rank higher than rank 10. If you just give him the minimum, he'll be rank 10. If you go way beyond that, he will go up to it. In fact, I think I started him at rank 14, if I remember correctly, because I did turn in extra. Or 18. I've got him at 18.
I turned in extra too. Yeah, and he's almost to 18. He's like 75% of the way into 17.
We had a guild night and we killed a bunch of world bosses. So everybody
9
got a
of
bunch of them. So we got to turn all of those in. So that is fun. That's another one that's gated. And then there are 3 more that are not really gated by doing much more than just their little their little small mission. Zalek's got a sort of a chain that you got to go to a couple sites on Ilum, and you can get him. He's one though that you can also reject as a companion, that you can fight and get rid of. And all the ones that you can reject, like Loken and Zalek and maybe Talos. I'm not sure if you can reject Talos. But the ones that you can reject, there are hidden achievements for rejecting them. So you may, if you're an achievement hunter, you may want to do that on one of your characters where you're okay with rejecting them. But I got Zalek on Ilum. I got Talos on Yavin. Oh, do you remember? You did Talos, right? In those little areas on Yavin. What did you think of that? Yep. Those little areas that were they there before? Are they new?
I don't know. When I was doing it, I felt like they had always been there, but I just never had a reason to go into these little areas. They're just like behind some trees and stuff. I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, there are like shadowy areas. There's a couple areas that are with a bunch of spider webs all around. It seemed to me like they hadn't been there before. I feel like I would have noticed these.
You're probably right.
Before.
Yeah.
But maybe they were. So he's basically collecting artifacts for him. He's the archaeologist. You're collecting these artifacts in these hidden, weird little open world areas on Yavin that are pretty cool. And of course there's Nico Okar. If you are impatient and you click Nico Okar's Hollow Communicator, you will not get the alert to do him as part of your alliance. And there is an achievement for waiting and being patient. I think it's called something like you're patient or something. And it's a real short little mission for you to get Nico, which I sort of liked, which is you go to the bar where he's hanging out and you got to mix him a drink, and you got to mix it the right way, and he makes comments as you mix it, and then he becomes your companion. Not that big a deal. So you get Nico then, and Nico's pretty cool. You can also then get Nico just with the token if you were a subscriber and you got the token to get him early. You can do that then on any of your other companions. You don't need to wait necessarily because he's a fun companion to have. It is potentially worthwhile on the companions that you're going to take a while to go through the story, on the characters you're going to take a while to go through the story on, to have a couple companions that you can still do crew missions with. Nico would be an example where you could get him early and have him, and he doesn't disappear then when you start the story like your regular companions do. So that's nice.
Same with Treek. So on my characters that I do mostly crafting with, if I work on influence at all, I've been trying to do it on Treek, and you're reminding me I could, when I get her influence to a certain level, I could on those characters get an instant Nico and start on his influence then.
Right. So Nico, Treek, and HK51 are all ones that will stick around, which is nice. Finishing Kaizen, as I mentioned, unlocks Loken. Then Loken, you need to go to, I think, Alderaan. You go chase him down. You talk to him. He's one who you can start to have a fight with in the very beginning. And then if you have that fight, then at the end you have a chance to reject him. But he's one that is gated by a couple things. One, you need to collect some supplies to get him to 10k influence first. And that's some bioanalysis mats, some mix of bioanalysis mats, diplomacy mats, or a couple Rakghoul mats. I think like one of the fungus things, one of the barnacle things that drops will give him quite a bit of influence. So you need to turn in some of those things to Loken to get him to 10k influence. Then he wants you to go down into the Rakghoul tunnels and set some sensors in like 4 places in the Rakghoul tunnels. So you want to have have talk to him. So you want to finish Kaizen, you want to talk to Loken, you want to get his influence to 10k, and then you'll be ready to do the Rakghoul event when the Rakghoul event comes. It's quick down in the tunnels to place the sensors down in the tunnels, and then he has you go do one final step out at the Sarlacc pit to sort of finish his story, and you'll see what he's going after and why he's having you do that along the way, which is pretty cool. And then you can get Loken as a companion. Let's see which those are all the main the current alert companions. Now what I expect is that as we get future chapters, we may get some additional alerts that open up and more companions might be available. But boy, we sure have a lot in the list. You are.
Yeah, I
right,
mean,
Seema.
do you use any of those companions from that list?
No, except a couple that I've gotten a little bit higher in influence just for crafting purposes. So as you said, it's a pain the way they're sorted. I think so. I started on Varroa Dens and started boosting her influence because she was the top one in my crafting in my crew skills window. So I might take the top couple in my crew skills window and boost their
that's a good
influence.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'll wait till the chapters are done so I know which are there and go after the top couple and for that reason. Two others that you can get on Odessan that you'll probably recognize is you can get your ship droid back and you can get the ship droid from each side, the Republic ship droid and the Imperial ship droid. You go into the cantina and there's the two droids are in there in the cantina. The Imperial ship droid is pretty funny, especially if you're an Imperial character. So listen to what the conversation he's having before as you walk up. And then if you're a Republic character, he comes in and you can either like threaten him or you can be nice to him, light side, dark side conversation. If you're light side and Republic, then he's so so pleased that you're not a terrible master to him, which all my Imperial characters were always nice to him. I don't know why he's got to be that way and badmouth me to.
That's how he's programmed.
And then there's a fun little quest line for C2N2, which is called Inflicting Comfort.
Yeah. Yes.
And the first time you do that, it's a little bit of a puzzle. He says, "Okay, I've got 4 sets of these comfort items that I want to distribute around your base. And tell me which of your alliance specialists you want me to line up these comfort items with. I've got these seat cushions, I've got this air freshener, I've got these prepackaged meals, yada yada." He's got 4 things. I just tried to figure it out the first time. I got it wrong once or twice. And it's okay to get it wrong because then your alliance specialists say funny things to you when you do it wrong. But then after you do it right, it's a one-time quest. You get some rewards for doing it, and then it opens up a weekly. When you go back to do the weekly, you can turn in some mats, and it's not insignificant. You have to do 2 adaptive circuitry, some biocells, some scavenging mats, some bioanalysis mats, and some rubat crystals, I think, or it's Rusin crystals. So, but it's only a few of each. But if you turn that in weekly, you get 500 influence for each of your alliance specialists and 500 influence for C2N2. So it is sort of worth it to do that weekly as long as you've got those mats on hand. So I've been doing it.
I've been doing it too, but I don't know. 2 adaptive circuitry, that hurts.
It is. Those are pricey materials. So you have to be willing to part with those. Well, you've got a new slicer now, though, so you'll be able to get tons of them. So there you go.
Yeah. He's actually pumping them out tonight. It's pretty cool.
Before we leave off on these companions, there is a note. SWTOR Ethcom in the chat room mentions that Loken has a little bit of a bug with him. Don't reset the mission if you get stuck. Just reset the instance that you're in, or log out and log back in. Sometimes if you reset the mission that you're on, you won't be able to get him right now. Either you're going to have to submit a ticket or wait for them to fix it or do something like that. So be careful with Loken as you do that and progress. And then finally, right now, we'll see what we get in future chapters. But there are two vendors that I mentioned in your Odessan base. There's the Alliance Vehicle Engineer, and he's got a whole bunch of speeders, some that you can pay for with credits. I think there's one for 10 million credits. Some you can pay for with crystals, and some you can pay for with the special tokens that you get off your alliance specialists when they get to 20. And then there's a black markets goods vendor that has, mostly for crystals, a bunch of decorations, some pets, including a model. I think it's a model of the ship that you're... What's the name of this ship? The Tombstone. I think you get a model Tombstone, a couple other pets, a Legacy armor set. It's the Scion armor set, which actually looks pretty cool. And then some other cool decorations that you can get off of that guy. So that's pretty much it. That's your alliance and your Odessan base. So ton of companions, some extra fun things going on in your base. As you get each of those companions, you unlock each of those additional people you add to your alliance. You can find them then in your Odessan base and go on and talk to them and hang out with them. And then you've got a bunch of companions. You can level up your favorite and pull them out and fight with them. They do all the roles now, so that's a cool thing. Anything you want to add, Seema, to sort of wrap it up with these guys?
So which companion do you take with you when you're out and about doing what you do?
I mostly take Senya. So she's story, and she's sort of my favorite from the story so far. I like some of the things she says. I like some of the things she does. I like how she's like, yeah, I killed him. That's one less perpetrator. that kind of stuff.
That does sound like her.
She also says, I took care of one for you when she kills one in combat. So she's going to be the first one I think I'm going to take to influence rank 50. What about you? What's your favorite right now?
Mine is Koth Wartina. He's my buddy. So I took him to influence 50, and so I'll probably be running with him whenever. I'm working on Scorpio though too, because I want to.
Scorpio is pretty cool. Yeah.
And then I'll have 2 high influence ones that I can do the top 2 slicing missions on during raids. So
exactly, which is what you need to do.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So that is your alliance. That is building your alliance.
And I bet there's going to be more.
Yeah.
And I bet there's going to be some, like the Act Dog that you can get, and the new droid companion that you can get via the cartel market. Because I think one thing that's brilliant about this is not only does it give us an engaging thing to spend our game time on, but it opens up a whole new thing that they can do through the cartel market too.
Absolutely. So I'm looking forward to more, and I like what I've gotten so far. So I think it's great. And with
I
that,
wonder if they're going to do use your words, Seema. You know, when you can change the looks of your companion.
customizations.
Customization, thank you. That'd be interesting if they did customizations for some of these. Some of them they can't, like you can't. Lana Benico is Lana Benico. But
exactly. You can't put armor on the story companions, but it would be nice to see some customizations.
Yeah.
So, with that though, I think our little EPC 119 droid can head off to Tatooine, which I do not like Tatooine, but I do like saying Tatooine. Although I do like Tatooine and saying Tatooine in real life.
I like Tatooine too.
And I will also say thanks to all of you for joining us on newoverlords.com, iTunes, YouTube, or live on Twitch. We will stream again next Monday night on twitch.tv/newoverlords around 10:30 p.m. Central. Please follow us on Twitter @MaxTheGray and @AIESEMA, and find us on Jedi Covenant and ask us for an AIE Guild invite. We would be happy to have you. And we will talk to you soon.
Later, everyone.